one perspective shift can change your entire life. Why? Because your reality of your life right now is simply based on the way you perceive the world around you, which is based on your beliefs. And your beliefs come from your past experiences and how you interpret those experiences today. So if you want to expand your life, you have to, you must, you're required to shift your perspective, expand and enrich your perspective so you can expand and enrich your life. One way that you can do that is by reading books, because books provide you perspective of other people, insights from teachers and mentors and people who have been through the journey of life, maybe further than you, but maybe not as far as you. But the thing is this, if you're reading a book, no matter how experienced or expert the person is who wrote the book, it's a different perspective. And a different perspective gives you the chance to have a seed planted to view the world differently. So in this video right now, I want to share with you quotes from 5 life-changing books, books that have impacted me greatly to help me shift my perspective so I can expand and enrich my own life. So I'm going to share with you from each of these books one quote or a couple of statements or sentences that hopefully will inspire and encourage you to see the world differently. And so as we dive in and I share with you these 5 books, the first thing I want to share with you before I get to officially book number 1, is this book, Think Like a Champion. It changed my entire life. Why and how? Well, my grandpa gave me this book when I was 12 or 13 years old, and it's the first actual personal development book that I ever read. I mean, I've been reading Sports Illustrated articles since I was 8 or 9 years old that were Sports Illustrated articles of high achievers and top athletes and their workout regimens and their mindset and things that they said and did to perform at their highest level. So I've always consumed that type of stuff. But the first actual personal growth and development and life mastery book that I read was this. Think Like a Champion, Building Success One Victory at a Time. So I always come back to it because I know that if I never read this book, I wouldn't have listened to the hundreds of hours of inspirational, encouraging, personal development focused YouTube videos and listen to podcasts to encourage me and educate me, which I want to share with you a few of these books that have really shifted my thinking. But I at least first and foremost want to share with you something from this book that will lead us into the rest of the book. So I'm going to go ahead and do my screen share here. And a quote from the book is, as you're looking at this now, teams matter more than individuals. Teams matter more than individuals. One thing I really learned from this book, Think Like a Champion, which is by Mike Shanahan, who won 2 Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos. So a great coach by anyone's standards. He performed at the highest level. And what I know from him, from reading this book many years ago and being able to revisit it often, is that team is more important than any individual. If you can remember that you've got all kinds of teams in your life, whether it's your family, your team at work, your broader family than just your more intimate family, your community, your social group, we all have teams that we're a part of. And if you can remember that if you're trying to achieve and live an extraordinary life, you have to focus on the team holistically, not just your own individual goals and aspirations, which leads me to officially book number 1 that I want to share with you, which is Big Potential by Shawn Achor, how transforming the pursuit of success raises our achievement, happiness, and well-being. This book is one of the most powerful books I've ever read. In fact, I ordered 5 immediately after I read it and just gave them away to people because I believed in it so much. It's one of my most revisited books. So as I share my screen with you here, I want to share with you a quote from this book specifically. There is only so much you can achieve if you strive only to improve yourself. It is time we began to pursue success and achievement in a markedly different way. And Big Potential is a different way of thinking. We very often want to believe that it's up to us to go after it and to make things happen. Maybe you've even heard the proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's the power of that team. It's the power of the group. It's the power of multiple people coming together to achieve greatness in their life, to live extraordinary lives that will really help you to find success faster. I think even with that proverb, you hear you achieve faster by going alone. I actually would contend that you can achieve faster more exponentially by working with others, bringing more minds together, by shifting and expanding your perspective, just like hopefully we can do for you today by sharing one insight, one new perspective from each of these books. And actually, I'm going to give you a double dose from this book in particular. So as we look down at the screen share here, quote from the book, he talks about exactly what big potential is. Big potential isn't about trying to go faster alone. It's about working to become better together. Again, this idea of team and the power of working together as a team. So I want to highly encourage you to go and get this book. You can see I've tagged it up. I've got all kinds of highlights and different pen color markings in there as I've read it multiple times. It's a fascinating book, and you'll have way more than just these couple of nuggets I shared with you. So I really want to encourage you to go get that book and read it. Don't just read it, but study it, underline it, highlight it, just like you should every book, so that you're maximizing the gain that you can take from that book. So as we move on to the next book, it's this one right here. Golf is Not a Game of Perfect by Dr. Bob Rotella. Dr. Bob Rotella is a sports psychologist and counselor for professional NFL teams, for high-level college basketball teams, for professional-level golfers. He just helps people get their mind right so they can have the best mindset possible, so they can execute at their highest level possible all the time, or at least as frequently and consistently as possible. Because what you find, one thing from this book he tells you is the highest performers, they're not perfect all the time. And as you can guess from the title of the book, that's a big part of it. They're not perfect all the time, but when they mess up, when there's a mistake, they know they can come back and be resilient and continue to look forward and focus on the next thing, not just what's happening now or what mistake you just made in the past. So as we shift to the quote that I want to share with you here, one of the things Tom's a professional golfer he was just referring to earlier right before this quote, so that you know, one of the things Tom or any successful pro does best is to, here it is, accept his bad shots, shrug them off, and concentrate completely on the next one. Completely on the next one. He has accepted the fact that, as he puts it, golf is not a game of perfect. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not a golfer, JJ, or maybe you are, but what I find fascinating about this book is the concepts apply just as well to life as they do to golf. And so what I want to share with you or encourage you in is, when you can remind yourself of this perspective of life, that it's not a game of perfect. Actually, he has a book called Life is Not a Game of Perfect. I haven't read it yet, but I imagine the concepts are very similar in that no matter what's happened in your past, it's about reframing that past and then looking ahead to the future to take that next step, to do the next thing, to take that next shot, and to just keep going. And actually, I've got one more to share with you from this same book, another quote. Wow, I'm giving lots of quotes from these books. I just really want to encourage you. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're in a place where you can write this down, I highly encourage you to do that, because anytime you write something down, you're going to be in a better position to remember it and actually use it, implement it, so you can create better results moving forward in your life. So here's the quote from the book. This does not mean that a pro, actually it's continued from the last one. This does not mean that a pro doesn't strive to eliminate mistakes from his game, but he understands that while striving for perfection is essential, demanding perfection on himself on the golf course is deadly. If you believe your life is going to be perfect every moment, you will go freaking bananas. You'll go nuts. You won't be able to keep moving forward because you'll be so focused on the past and the challenges and the obstacles instead of what's open to you in the future. So if you can make this small distinction, this shift in your perception of what's possible in the world, that no matter what's happened in your past, it's about moving forward. Not to say the past doesn't matter, not to say the past hasn't influenced and shaped you to be the person you are today, but more importantly, let's reflect on and learn from the experiences of the past, but look forward to that next shot and then just keep going. And so the next book is one of my favorites. It's a classic. You probably have heard of it if you haven't read it. And I want to highlight something in here that I really hope, even if you've heard it before, will spark this reminder in you for the importance of this specific quote in life. And so the next book I want to share with you is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's a phenomenal book. Viktor is someone that spent time, unfortunately, in, I believe it was Auschwitz in a concentration camp during World War II. Just a tragic experience, just ridiculously terrible that no human should ever experience, but he did. And he experienced it, and he took what he learned about life from that experience and put it into this book so that other people who fortunately didn't have to go through those wretched challenges can learn from the experiences that he gained and the perspective that he expanded within himself based on that life experience. As tragic as it was, he took it and he used it and he harnessed it to create positive meaning in his life that allowed him to grow and to contribute even further beyond himself. So as we go to the screen share here, here's the quote from the book. Everything can be taken from a man or woman, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms. Here it is, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. I hope you will write that down, or pause here and write that down, or rewind and re-listen to that being said. This is probably one of the most quoted statements from this entire book. There's a lot from this book that people have pulled out over the years, but here's the one I want to highlight for you and ingrain into you. The last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, is something you have available to you right now and in every situation you find yourself in every moment of life that you have. Let's move on to the next book. Again, I highly recommend you buy all of these books. I'll list them below. Hopefully you're writing notes on them, but I'll also list them below in the description so you can go right to them, expand your mind, expand your perspective, and expand your life. So the next book that I want to share with you is The Coaching Habit, right here. The Coaching Habit, Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever by Bungay Stanier. And this book is absolutely outstanding for anyone who wants some basic introductory coaching tools and strategies so you can be a great coach wherever you are, whether you're a professional of any kind, if you're a salesperson, if you're an HR, if you're a leader, if you're an executive, if you're a manager, if you interact with people. This book can absolutely help you get some introductory coaching skills so you can expand your ability to communicate more effectively to produce better results faster. And so the quote that I want to share with you specifically from this book is right here. And what else? And what else is the quickest and easiest way to uncover and create new possibilities? And what else is the quickest and easiest way to uncover and create new possibilities? Where do you use this statement, and what else? You use it in conversation. If somebody's sharing something with you, they're sharing their perspective, their heart, their challenges, their opinions, their thoughts, the things that are happening in their life, whether a personal relationship, a spouse, significant other, partner, child, other family member, friend in the community, someone at work, a client. If somebody's sharing with you and you want to give them the space to feel seen and heard and to understand that person, which are the bedrocks, the foundation for creating a great relationship, is helping someone to see that you care enough to be present for them. If you can do that, you can change everything. You can transform that relationship. You can make that an extraordinary relationship. And if you make that relationship extraordinary, you'll make your life extraordinary. And so if someone's sharing with you and they get to the end and they shared what you think is everything, ask this or say this, and what else? Because when you say and what else, it gives them the opportunity to share even more, because it lets them know that you're there to be present, to hear from them, to listen to them, so that they can share everything that's on their mind and their heart. And if you can do that, if you can practice saying this statement when someone finishes sharing with you, and what else, you'll absolutely come across as someone who cares deeply and can help someone expand their own life. And so let me shift into book number 5 that I want to share with you on the official list of 5. I know this is actually the 6th book, but let me share with you nonetheless. Let's keep moving here into the next one. The next book I want to share with you is The Structure of Magic. I know this is going to sound kind of weird. The Structure of Magic is a book from, I think it came out in like 1983 or something like that, but it's still absolutely applicable today if you want to become a masterful, artful communicator. You see, this book is by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, and it's a book about language and therapy. And you might think, well, what does language and therapy have to do with me and my life and living an extraordinary life? Everything. Language has everything to do with your ability to live an extraordinary life. And I'm not going to dive into all of the nuances of why that is right now in this video, but what I want to remind you of is your language creates your reality. So your language, the words you use, the phrases you use, the statements you make about the things happening in your life have the ability to expand and enrich your experience or to limit you and hold you back. And so what I want to share with you now is a quote that's extremely powerful, that if you get this, if you grasp this concept, it can change your life. And I'm not being dramatic. It can change your life if you truly grasp this concept. So here it is. Quote from the book. They are, in fact, just referring generally to people, they are, in fact, making the best choices from those of which they are aware. That is, the best choices available in their own particular model. Here it is. This will help clarify it for you. In other words, human beings' behavior, no matter how bizarre it may first appear to be, makes sense when it is seen in the context of the choices generated by their model. Now, first things first, you might be asking the question, what do you mean by their own particular model? What I mean by their own particular model is your model of the world, your worldview, how you see things. We all make our own mental model of the world based on our past experiences. And if you want to create a better experience for yourself, you've got to create a more empowered model of the world, a more enriched model of the world. And you can do that by getting more perspectives from reading more books and watching videos just like this. And if you're someone that really wants to feed your mind, I have to encourage you that your morning routine is vitally important for setting you up for a very successful day. And a lot of people ask me, JJ, what do you do for your morning routine? I want to be better in the morning, but I just don't know what things I might need to incorporate or what I should be doing. And so if that's you, if you really want to know what you can do to, as part of your morning routine, to set yourself up for a really successful day, I made a morning routine checklist and a guide that'll take you step by step through some of the components of my morning routine that help me to feel more energized and alive and excited and enthusiastic to make every single day the best day it possibly can be so I can live an extraordinary life. So if you're interested in that, just grab it via the link in the description below. And let's move on because listen, I know I shared with you that I was only going to tell you about 5 books and I've already given you 6, but I've got a bonus book for you. I got a bonus book because this book is one of those shorter books that will absolutely open you up to a new realization of what the world truly has in store for you if you can understand these concepts to move yourself forward. And the book specifically is How to Break Free of the Drama Triangle and Victim Consciousness. And why is this book and concept so important? I'm sure you very often have heard in your life about victim consciousness. You may not have heard of the specific concept of the drama triangle, but that's part of victim consciousness. So they go together in many ways. If we're part of and we're in this drama triangle, then we have a victim consciousness. We think life's happening to us and we don't have the opportunity to step into a new and expanded reality of our world. And so what I want to share with you now is a quote from this book that I really think can open you up to how to live a more expansive and enriched life. And by the way, this book is phenomenal. It's only 79 pages. And this is one of the books that I have more highlights and underlines in than many of the other books that I have because there's so many things related to having extraordinary relationships in your life. And if you want to live an extraordinary life, the only way to do that is to have extraordinary relationships. So let me move into very quickly the quote from this book. So as you're looking at my screen, here it is. The biggest help you can offer others is challenging their negative or twisted belief that helplessness is their only option. If you can help people to break their limiting beliefs, to challenge their limited beliefs, their limited thinking, so they can live a more expanded and enriched life, you can positively influence them so they can create a better life. And if you circle this and tie this back to one of the first books, which was Big Potential, if you can help other people you can help yourself. If you can help other people achieve their goals, you can help yourself achieve your own goals even faster. So my friend, if this has resonated with you, if these books are helping you, I want to encourage you. I made my most popular video today is on this book actually. So go and watch it right now so that you can learn a little bit more about the drama triangle and how you might use it and understand it to expand and enrich your own life. So go watch that video that I made on it right now. And no matter what challenges you're facing in your life, I want to encourage you to just keep going.